the showstopper. Amino Boost is not only our signature product, but when you add it to your creatine supplementation and your pre-post first string shake, whoa, you will be jacked, stacked, and Big Macked. Now let's do a little background on the use of essential amino acid supplementation in sport that will fully explain why we have this formula included in the muscle gain bundles. Okay, let's go to amino acids. We learned exactly how protein works with exercise for building muscle and its proper timing, including supplementing a fast-acting protein 30 to 40 minutes before and immediately after training can significantly enhance exercise results. And as this diagram reminds us, without the amino acids that make up protein, you can't keep or build muscle. What your top protein researchers set out to do next was to find out which parts of the complete protein are the primary drivers of muscle protein synthesis. And as session 3 taught us, it's only the essential amino acids, or the ones the body cannot make and must be supplied through diet and/or supplements, including the branched-chain amino acids that are the major trigger for muscle protein synthesis, with leucine having the greatest impact of all. Which is why whey protein is shown superior in delivering muscle protein synthesis, as it has the highest content of essential amino acids, including leucine, per gram of protein compared to all others. From there, the researchers proposed that supplementing these essential amino acids, or shall we say direct drivers of muscle protein synthesis, along with adequate daily protein, might further stimulate muscle protein synthesis and reduce muscle breakdown, with the bonus of less calories for weight control, fewer sulfur-containing amino acids to maintain bone health, and lower nitrogen load for organ health. Sure enough, they were correct. The essential amino acids, including the branched chain with leucine, became regular supplements beyond complete intact protein for enhancing muscle protein synthesis. In other words, supplementing these isolated essential amino acids properly would deliver an incremental benefit to muscle protein synthesis when compared to adequate daily protein alone. Okay, so let's see how these special muscle protein synthesis triggers go beyond what complete protein can do. So think of it as isolating just the natural molecules involved in signaling muscle protein synthesis away from everything else, so they can have a continual direct path to their targets. In other words, the body doesn't have to do any of the extraction from other food sources, which might otherwise detour them from their muscle protein synthesis destinations and/or lessen their potential effectiveness. What this means is, when the essential amino acids are supplied in a complete protein source, can get separated, diluted, and sent to other places in the body, leaving the muscle protein synthesis targets not completely fulfilled. Therefore, the goal is to supply a combination of specific amino acids shown in clinical trials to help maximize recovery from continuous training bouts through unique pathways beyond protein alone. Therefore, proper use would allow greater recovery and help avoid training plateaus by keeping the muscle protein synthesis signal going all day, every day, through a fast-acting, low-calorie delivery system. By the way, as a side note, it can be used for the non-exercising adult population. Since it is a low-calorie muscle protein synthesis supplement, daily use can actually help preserve muscle, thus staving off normal age-related losses. All right, let's talk about the rationale for the essential amino acids. Exercise and amino acids stimulate skeletal muscle protein turnover independently. Thus, combined properly, they have additive effects on training-induced recovery, performance, and muscle size. That's a given. Although non-essential amino acids are necessary components of complete muscle tissue, they are not required to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Only the essential amino acids stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Essential amino acid feeding stimulates muscle protein synthesis independent of other mechanisms and can be incremental to protein alone. Let's talk mechanisms of action. This diagram shows how isolated essential amino acids stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Essential amino acids have a unique trigger mechanism, including acting as a positive regulator of the mammalian target of rapamycin complex 1, mTORC. Boy, do you want to say that again. signaling pathway, which is really where it's the main primary target for stimulating muscle protein synthesis. That's my term. There's also less competitive amino acid transport into the body and then muscles with only 8 versus 20 amino acids, which also means less organ extraction, meaning more amino acids are available directly to the muscles, as the essential amino acids can bypass much of the normal amino acid liver metabolism. And a high volume of essential amino acids can maintain an ideal cellular ratio of amino acids around the muscles. In other words, supply them as they're released and incorporated into tissues. So basically, it's a straight shot with the right molecules to the desired destination. But for all you science geeks out there, this next slide lists the known essential amino acid mechanisms beyond intact protein. So in summary so far, isolated essential amino acid feeding stimulate muscle protein synthesis independently or incrementally from other mechanisms. In other words, additive to complete protein and exercise. Essential amino acids in the right proportion can hit the bullseye on each target, as it would take too much intact protein to match effective levels of just the essential amino acids. In fact, it'd take more than 40 grams just to supply 12 grams of essential amino acids. But even then, with complete protein, you can't control the accurate needed percentages of these individual essential amino acids, and especially leucine. Meaning the proven dose needs to be in proportion with what's lost during muscle protein breakdown and maximally needed during muscle protein synthesis. And that cannot be done without isolating the desired amino acids. And finally, with only the essential amino acids being delivered, there is less competition for the amino acid transporters, with greater activation of the essential amino acid transporters, and less loss to the organs. So, you get far more to the muscle targets. And does it work? Absolutely. Science has clearly established that a specific combination of essential amino acids administered properly can accomplish the goal of maximizing muscle protein synthesis during each temporal or muscle protein synthesis opening in time during the day opportunity, exercise induced or not, by utilizing every available mechanism of action up to its respective rate limiting effect. In other words, where it can't help anymore. A secondary goal is to deliver maximum muscle protein synthesis throughout life with a low calorie, low nitrogen containing, low sulfur producing supplement. And if you look at pages 2 through 5 of your accompanying document that I gave you, list the recent myriad studies that support the formula and positive outcomes of essential amino acid formulas. So let's look at the typical use that supports all these claims that are taken from these studies and how to use it alongside your normal protein intakes, which is a big one. As a standalone low-calorie pre- and post-workout supplement, here's how you would use it. If you're less than or equal to 150 pounds, you'd use about 12 grams during and before training and repeat that same dose immediately after. So 12 grams before, 12 grams after. If you're greater than 150, I put this formula in here, you can kind of do what you want here all the way around, but approximately 5% increase for each 10 pounds of body weight. So I'll put an example for you. If you weigh 200 pounds, you'd add 3 grams. So you got a 15 gram dose. If you're 250 pounds, 18 gram dose. If you're using a pre and post protein shake and want to add an essential amino acid formula for a potential additive effect, as we just discussed, or what we call in pro sports, stacking, here's the protocol. Take your pre-workout complete protein shake about 40 minutes before training. Start ingesting the essential amino acid formula about 10 minutes before the workout and continue to drink during. Immediately after the activity, consume your post-essential amino acid formula again, and then 30 minutes after that, take your complete protein shake again. You are now jacked, stacked, and Big Mac'd. All right, let's talk about potential beneficiaries, or the typical use. Basically, all exercisers and athletes seeking continuous physical progress, ideal for breaking through or avoiding fitness, size, or performance plateaus. Also used as an extremely low calorie and high anabolic pre and post workout supplement for athletes to maximize muscle protein synthesis during restricted calorie dieting to maintain muscle protein synthesis during weight and fat loss, such as in physique competitors fighters, wrestlers, weightlifters, basically anyone trying to reduce fat or weight without losing muscle. And it's also very important for older athletes seeking physical improvements as the body becomes more resistant to the anabolic effects of food and exercise. It's also ideal for multiple daily training sessions or tournament play before and after each event. Any non-exerciser over the age of 30 to help stave off age-related loss of muscle. It is a low-calorie, low-nitrogen, and low-sulfur producing protein supplement as needed for the aging. Let's talk about safety. Amino acids are considered safe at these recommended dosages for all healthy persons, non-pregnant or lactating. As with any protein-containing supplement, amino acid supplementation would be contraindicated for anyone with kidney or liver disease and for phenylketonuria because it contains phenylalanine. Furthermore, there's no upper limit for amino acids. In fact, chronic protein intake, 2 to 4 times the RDA, appears safe for healthy individuals as long as protein's not replacing other necessary nutritious foods. All right, so a little quick side note here, branched chain and leucine. I want to leave you with a quick note on branched chain and leucine alone as supplementation since they're commonly used. Leucine is part of the branched chain amino acids. And of course, as we learned here, branched chain amino acids are part of the essential amino acid formulas used for the goal of enhancing muscle protein synthesis. Therefore, branched chain amino acids or leucine alone supplementation, while they may have some clinical application outside their contribution to muscle protein synthesis, would be an inferior supplement for maximizing muscle protein synthesis since the essential amino acid supplements contain not just these amino acids in proper quantities, but also the other necessary synergistic essential amino acids, histidine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, and threonine, that take muscle protein synthesis to the next level when combined in the proper ratio. That said, because of branched chain amino acids' ability to compete with tryptophan, another amino acid, in entering the brain, where tryptophan can cause fatigue, there is some evidence that supports that high doses of branched chain alone may delay fatigue in strenuous endurance activities.